In the metals quadrant, taking a look at the March gold contract, which rebounded, but it was a small bounce after being down 3 of the last 4 sessions. The bounce wasn't much, finishing the day up about 1/3 of 1%, right around 2050. On the high today, 2050 and 10 cents. That was up 0.75%. But on the low, it was actually a 2 basis point gap higher. 2043.30 was the low, 2042.80 was the settlement for yesterday. So while it is an inside range day and it could be a reversal signal, there are many outside factors that are going to dictate the next move. On a weekly basis, gold is still down right around 1% at this point. Now, according to Goldman Sachs, the gold longs are exhausted. Goldman Sachs put out a report, it's their CTA report, and they see record longs in gold. They believe CTAs are almost max long now, with little to excess money to deploy into the gold market if it continues to go higher. Now, obviously, CTAs aren't the only ones that can invest or speculate in gold, but they are pretty active in the metals in general, so it's an interesting point if it actually is a fact. This is a Goldman Sachs report, not some sort of government report based on actual data, although they do pretty good analysis. So right now, it is just that. It's analysis by Goldman Sachs, which could mean that if there's any sort of a balanced move lower, that it may be short-lived. Now, U.S. yields, which tend to move in the inverse relationship to gold, or I should say gold moves in the inverse relationship to yield, were up today, but the dollar, which has that same inverse relationship to gold, took a little bit of a break. Now, the 10-year is above 4%, and if it settles there, it'll be the first time we've had a settlement above 4% on the 10-year note since December 14th. But across the curve, between 6 basis points and 10 basis points from 2-year to 30-year, those yields are higher. But the dollar in the aggregate was actually a little bit lower. The dollar moved the most against the euro and the Swiss and the pound to the downside, but was also up against the New Zealand dollar, the yen, and the Aussie dollar. So really overall it was mixed, and on the day, gold had a small move higher based off of those two factors and the other ones that I mentioned.